Hello everyone, welcome. I am doing a special segment today at the invitation of Cheryl McKinney. I am doing a collaboration video where several of us have been asked if we would like to do a designer showcase for you and pick three of our favorite designers, tell you a little bit about them, why we like them, show you maybe some of the things we've either stitched or collected, and tell you how you can get some of these patterns. And our hope is that some of these may be artists or designers that you may not be as familiar with as others. It just may spark some interest on your part. So I want to tell you about the three designers that I was able to highlight. I picked one that's not really an individual, it is a company, and they have various designers that work for them, but they have an aesthetic that is absolutely easy to pick out, and that is the Stoney Creek collection. I want to show you some things I've stitched from there just to remind you, and also show you some things I have coming up that I have in my stash. And then I want to share with you some Sue Hillis. I don't know too many people who aren't familiar with Sue Hillis, especially after all of us talking about her from StitchCon, but I've just recently found her and some of her designs I have stitched and have started finding myself attracted to her sense of humor and her eye as well. So that's the second one I want to share with you. The third one is a little bit different. I am stitching my very first pattern from that designer, although I've been collecting patterns from this individual designer ever since I began cross-stitching. I had to grow up a bit in order to be able to stitch it, and I have a lovely collection that I thought I would just share parts of it with you and tell you kind of what I have in mind as to what I would like to stitch, and just see if it sparks any interest in your part as well. So let's get started. We'll start first with the Stoney Creek collection. And the Stoney Creek collection is one that I have stitched a few things from that you've seen if you've been watching my channel very long. And some of them have been gifted, and some of them are in storage. And so I will share with you what I can. I'll put pictures in where I can, and I'll show you patterns where I can. So we'll start with one that was probably one of the first ones that you guys actually saw me working on, and it was Bewitching. This one right here. I did the big one. And she is packed away until Halloween. And so she's in a storage area. It's hard for me to get to her. I would need my husband's help to get her down. But if I get a chance to, I'll either get her down and I'll post the pictures in here. I'll cut it and put it in here, or I'll just put pictures of it in here. But if you'll recall, I did stitch her on a beautiful fabric that was this purpley color, and it also sparkles. It was opalescent, so it sparkles. And her entire coat here is full of blending filament, and this moon is, and this globe at the end of her stick or staff, whatever it might be. It's just beautiful, and it doesn't show as well on camera as it does in person. But this one was a joy. And I don't stitch a lot of Halloween. I don't like spooky, scary stuff. I like fun, whimsical stuff. And so this really fit with me because she was a pretty witch. She wasn't a scary, ugly witch. So that was one of my very first big pieces I did from Stoney Creek that since I've been doing Flosstube. I wanted to share that with you. The next large project I did from Stoney Creek, you'll remember, it hasn't been that long ago. And Steph, this is that pattern you were looking for. This is from Stoney Creek, and it is the Halloween Tricks. Here are those two boys scared to death. And Sonia from Cat Crazy Creations, I believe is her channel name, is almost finished with this, or has finished this and submitted it to Gerald's, Ginger Gerald's competition for a project, finishing a project. But this one I did just this past year. And again, I liked the humor in it. I just thought that was precious. So that's another Stoney Creek collection. Then I have some things in my stash, kitted up and ready to go. And I'm hoping that I will get to them in the year 2020. I certainly would like to. The first one is called Christmas Sentiments. I have seen others stitch this, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece. I love the colors. And so I have selected a piece of fabric, 28 count mocha. It's a silk weaver's fabric. And I do think that this was in my stash. I think that's going to be beautiful. I know that is a little bit lighter than this, but I do think those white snowflakes are going to pop on this. I will have to check out the gold that's in here, you know, just to make sure it'll show up on here. And if it doesn't, I'll have to do something a little bit different color, but that's okay. I think this is going to be beautiful together. So that's in my stash, hopefully for next year. And then I have a funny whimsical one that is precious, and I have just paired it with some white Jobelan, but it looks like it would be a fun piece to do. It's Christmassy, and I just think it's precious. Again, funny, whimsical, lots, you know, just lots of joy and merriment in there. So those are my Stoney Creek collection, ones that I've stitched and ones that I have in my stash that I'm hoping to stitch sometime in the near future. And I encourage you to look at Stoney Creek. You can go to stoneycreek.com and find the patterns there. Probably the best place to find them because they'll have the biggest selection of them. You can also get them if you're ordering from 123 Stitch. You can find them there. I didn't go out on eBay and look because they were so readily available elsewhere, but I encourage you to give them a look, especially if you like humorous things. So now let's look at Sue Hillis. Last year I stitched a couple of things from Sue Hillis, and one of them you may recall, it's St. Nick's Toys. I stitched it as a gift for my friend Cheryl, and I'll insert a picture here. That's already gone because it was a gift and she loved it, but it was a delightful stitch. I enjoyed it a lot. And I still have that pattern. So if that's one you can't find, I went online today and I couldn't find it. I looked and looked and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it's available or not. I looked on eBay and I couldn't find it. So that may be one that I offer up down the road if it's hard to find, so I can get it back in circulation. Another one that I did as a gift was an ornament for an ornament exchange, and I'll try to look back through some old videos and see if I can get a snapshot of it or if I have a picture of it, because this is also, I stitched it a second time for myself, and it's packed away with the Christmas decor. But it was called Merry Stitchmas, and it was the shape of a Christmas tree. And it had all sorts of sewing motifs in the tree, if you recall. It was just a cute little ornament. And I enjoyed that. That was probably one of the earlier things that I stitched from Sue Hillis, was that ornament. Here is the Merry Stitchmas ornament. I was able to dig it out. And you can see all of the little sewing motifs. I did put 2018 charm on there because that was the year that I made it. But this is the Sue Hillis Merry Stitchmas. I used the buttons and I used beads for the pins in the tomato pin cushion. And then I backed it with a Christmas fabric. And that hangs on my tree. Then, if you look into my most recent stitch of Sue Hillis's, it will be a recent finish. And in fact, I just picked out a frame for this yesterday, and I will be working to frame it. I just could not get it done before I had to do my filming today. So this is my Broderie à Paris. This is a Sue Hillis. And someone at StitchCon, because I worked on this at StitchCon, mentioned to Sue Hillis that I was doing this in a blue and green version. And I understand Sue doesn't particularly care for green. So I don't think she liked my choice. I don't know that she saw it. But everyone else seemed to like it. And I know she's probably partial to the red because that's what she designed it in. But this has been a fun stitch. I could not put it down. And the fun part for me was going through my mom's buttons, and I think that I found some that matched just lovely to this piece. So beautifully designed. Enjoyed that lovely stitch, and I'll be framing that hopefully later today or in early next week. Okay, so forgive me the zipper. I had this in my stash, and I couldn't take everything out of these bags or I would not know which ones to put them back in. This is a Sue Hillis that I have in my stash that I actually have put fabric with. Again, it's just an antique white Lugana because I think that's what it's needed. And this is a beautiful, beautiful piece called Christmas Spool Tree. I just think that is lovely. It's, again, that whimsical, you know, Christmas. It's not the typical Christmas. And this comes with buttons already to put on the tree. So I have the buttons with it. So I'll be ready to go whenever I can, you know, put this in my rotation. Then this one is going to be fun. Now, I'm really looking forward to this. This is called a Stitcher's Days of Christmas. And if you've noticed, I tend to like to do Days of Christmas for some reason, the 12 Days of Christmas. And so here is Sue Hillis's version. It's a Stitcher's Days of Christmas. And I've seen other people do this. I actually think I was enabled to buy this by a Flosstuber. I'm thinking it was Lisa, maybe. But anyway, I have purchased fabric, and I have a very large piece of fabric that's very long. And I will show you the fabric that I've chosen. This is Joblin, and it's just a light gray. And so that's what I'm going to be stitching this on. This is on a light gray. And I think that's going to look lovely with it. All the colors will pop. And I think it'll go very, very well. And then I'm thinking that I have the button pack to go with it. These are the little buttons that are going to go on this piece, and I have those. So other than pulling threads, this is about how far I kit up things until I'm ready to start them. I start, first of all, with the fabric, and then any embellishments I need, and then I pull my floss last. So that is, again, Sue Hillis. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I have that's Sue Hillis related. So who's the third person? I guess you probably already know, but it's Teresa Wentzler. I love her designs. I find them challenging. I find them somewhat difficult with all the blends and half stitches and quarter stitches and 1/1, charted faces where you don't have choice. That's what you have to do. But I do think that she is a designer for the needleworker. And I don't think I was ready to do her level of difficulty in her designs until recently. And I'm ready, I think now. Made a bad choice on my first one, which was the Nativity. Made a bad choice in fabric. I think the color would have been okay, but the 32 count was too small for me for the 1/1, and I made some mistakes in it that I just couldn't get over. Faces looked terrible. So I started over. And I only have a little bit on it, and I haven't done any more since the last time I showed you. So I will keep that one to show you. But I have a collection of her patterns, and it may not be extensive, but I have several, and I thought I would just share them with you. So let me get those if you'll hold on one second, because I have to move some things off the table so I have room for my Teresa. The first one I want to share with you is one that I don't know that a lot of people know, that Teresa Wenzler actually designed a mermaid. But this is her mermaid. It is lovely. It is dark and sort of moody. This mermaid is sitting there with a very pensive longing in her face, probably dreaming of the man that maybe she's fallen in love with. I don't know. But I think she's very natural looking. And I just think she's beautiful. So this is the mermaid that I intend to do. And I'm just going to do it on a beige fabric, because that's what is called for. And it actually is called beige. It's Joblin. And this one, believe it or not, this one's fully kitted. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, for a stitch along that I'm going to be doing next year with Anne from Fiber Floss and Fiction, because she would like to start another Teresa Wenzler. I think she's picked out which one she wants to do. This is one of the ones I'm considering doing. So, sorry, it's upside down. So this is ready, it's kitted, it's ready to go. If I choose this one, it's ready. So that's one. The next one that I have that's a major contender for my stitch along with Anne, and you'll have to give me your feedback on these, is Lady of Shalott. This is gorgeous. This is a woman doing needlework, looking out her castle window. It's absolutely beautiful. She's working on a tapestry there. And this, I had the pattern, just the pattern in my stash, and I had won it in a giveaway on someone's channel. I actually had won it. And then a sweet, kind person had been gifted someone's cross-stitch stash when they passed away by a man in her church. And she contacted me and asked some questions about sharing it with others. And she knew that I liked Teresa Wenzler, and so as a little thank you for talking with her, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, she sent me some, and it's fully kitted. So this one's ready. It's got fabric and floss. So here you go. Here's the second Teresa Wenzler I have, fully kitted, ready to go. Now I have to decide, you know, what I want to do. But that's not all. I also have a kit And this one is the Enchanter. And this one is very appealing to me because it, you know, it looks here like he's got a little baby dragon that he's enchanting, and it reminds me, even though it's not a phoenix, it reminds me sort of the Harry Potter vibe. And I thought, wouldn't that be a fun one to do since I'm in School of Magical Stitches? And it's a kit, and it has fabric and floss, so it is fully kitted as well. And then I have one that's only partially kitted, but I dearly love it. Rapunzel. I love this hair. It just goes forever. It's sort of like a dress when you do a memorabilia. It just keeps going forever. But anyway, here's Rapunzel. And all I have put with that is the fabric. And I just have a potato from Lugana. Or a Lugana. I don't know where it's from, but the color is potato. So another kit that I have from Teresa Wentzler, fully kitted with fabric, floss, and beads, is Romeo and Juliet. I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. So those are my kits, or my patterns that I have at least identified that I'm interested in stitching at some point, and I have put floss or fabric with it, or it has come that way. Then I have some other things to share with you that are just in my collection. This one is called Celestial Dragon, and I understand some of the dragons are harder to find now, but I have that one. And then I have this joyous book that we love, is The Best of Theresa Wenzler. And this one has in it, oh my goodness, Cinderella. It also has Rapunzel, but it has this beautiful piece that Stephanie, Miss Oh So Crafty, has done. But here's what else it has on the back. Here's the carousel. There's Cinderella. It has these, I think these are called Day and Night, is that right? And then it has the unicorn and the Pegasus. Several beautiful pieces in here in this book. And then I had a sweet viewer send me a magazine recently that has Gabriel in it, and she thought that would make a really good companion piece for my nativity. So I have that kind of on the side to look at that and see if I think they'll go together. But I do happen to know that Brian from Blitz Stitch and Lisa from Lisa's Stitching and Such, they're both working on Teresa Wenzler patterns as well. So I know there's some interest in her out there, and Ann P enjoys working on hers. So if you are ready for a challenge, if you don't mind, you know, some intricate pattern, then give her a shot, because her stuff is beautiful, very pretty. Well, those are my 3 designers that I wanted to share with you, and I hope you picked up something from at least one of them that you might like. I'm looking forward to being a part of this collaboration to see what the other people are going to share with you. These are by far not the only designers I have in my stash. I do have others as well, but these were the ones that I had the most of, and I just thought they would be more interesting because I'd have more to share with you. In the meantime, though, I hope you'll enjoy watching the others, and I hope you're enjoying your stitching, and I will talk to you soon with a regular video.